Is now in session, and Trump has been consulting with former Speaker Newt Gingrich on a new midterm contract. So, if any of you either are history nerds or were somehow born before 19, I guess, 80, then you'll probably, born before 1980, you'll probably know what I mean by saying the midterm contract. But for those that don't, Newt Gingrich, he was Speaker of the House from 1994 for until around the 2000s era. And in that time period, he was able to get a lot of House seats and a lot of seats nationally speaking to go for Republicans. This is the 1994 midterm elections when Bill Clinton was president, and you can see here that Republicans won flipped 8 seats, a net gain of 8 seats for the Senate races, and then for the House races, they were able to flip a whopping 54 seats, or a net gain of 54 seats, and then in the gubernatorial elections, they were able to have a net gain of 10 seats. So this was a very, very good year for the Republican Party, and it was all because of Newt Gingrich and his contract with America, and that's what it was called. And you can see this Wikipedia article right here, the Contract of America. And what it basically did is it was like a figurative contract where the Republican Party would promise to do several things. And you can see the list here. Maybe we can zoom in. You can see here that the Contract of America was to apply to apply all laws to Congress, to cut committee staff by 1/3, and even more down the list. And you can see that they have the checkbox there to signify that they've fulfilled on their promises. And through that contract with America, Newt Gingrich was able to win the Republican Party was able to win the Senate, the House, literally every single major election, with the exception of the presidency, who's not up in the 1994 midterm elections. And Newt Gingrich then became Speaker of the House, and his speakership was very controversial, but ultimately he was able to do a lot to get to that position of speakership. And that's something that Donald Trump wants to emulate come 2022. Now, Trump consulting Gingrich on midterm contract, he's probably going to try to release his own contract to kind of mimic the Newt Gingrich wins of 1994. And if he does that, that wouldn't be surprising, and he would be fulfilling on his promise to become Speaker of the House, because Donald Trump apparently does want to run for Congress and then become Speaker of the House come 2022 solely for the purpose of impeaching Biden. Now, the chances of that actually happening is pretty low. He's probably doing that for publicity, but nonetheless, it would go hand in hand with Trump trying to consult with Gingrich on the midterm contract. And if he is able to release a contract and get that out to the American public, that could spell disaster for Biden's majority in Congress. Because currently speaking, the House majorities and the majorities in the U.S. Congress are pretty low for Democrats. Democrats won a total of 222 seats in the U.S. House, and then they won a total of 50 seats in the Senate. So in the Senate, that's exactly split even. Meanwhile, for the House, it's only 5 House seats off from having Republicans getting the majority, and that is not good for Biden because he needs as many seats as possible in order to retain majorities, and he needs to expand on the Senate scale, so that if he wants to get his major policies passed, he can do so by removing the filibuster with 2 additional Democratic senators, one most likely from Pennsylvania, and then one from Wisconsin, North Carolina, Ohio, Iowa, or potentially even Mississippi. So not Mississippi, Missouri. So those are the things that Biden needs to do, and those are the things that Trump needs to do. Trump right now, if he wants to get his credibility back, the Contract of America is a good way to get him there. It's probably going to come at the expense of bipartisanship in Congress, because when Newt Gingrich did become the Speaker of the House in 1994, absolutely nothing happened between nothing substantial happened between then and the 2000 election, where George W. Bush won the election, and that really spelled the end of bipartisanship for the 21st century, at least for the beginning parts of the 21st century. The gridlock that we're seeing right now is all stemming from Newt Gingrich in 1994, who advocated against bipartisanship, who advocated against collegiality with Democrats, and called for constant filibusterings of bills that were put under a Democratic-led Senate, and that's the main thing. That's the main outcome that will happen in 2022 if Newt Gingrich decides to have another turn at influence in these races. Now, in the House, it will probably work out for Newt Gingrich and Donald Trump. Maybe not as much in the Senate, but definitely for the House. And that would mean that Biden would no longer be able to get actual policies passed, and instead would have to face gridlock. And if Donald Trump does run for Congress, who knows? Maybe he might be the one negotiating with Biden in the White House. So that's the end of this video. Hope you enjoyed it. This video is now adjourned, and I'll see you in the next one.